Today's topic, something I mentioned in passing Tuesday's class. This is like one of the more used concepts in all of programming, and it's structures. And I'm calling it structures, and that might be the last time you hear me call it structures. Almost everybody calls this structs. All right. Structs is like a bundle of information. And this is, if you think about it, this is the way banking accounts work. This is the way school records work. This is the way of the work world, the way of e-commerce, the way of um, just about any business that works with data. So let me just walk you through this. Um, it's kind of a easy concept to get. You just have to remember the rules. All right. Uh, some of our normal stuff, IOStream, I'm going to put a string inside the struct, and IOmanip because I'm going to manipulate um, the pay to where it's dollars, right? And as normal, using namespace. All right, here's the thing you haven't seen, and here's a struct. All right, that's like saying in just other words, it's like I'm going to make a bundle of things. I'm going to make a bundle of things, and I'm going to call it payroll. So struct payroll, and inside this bundle, inside this struct, okay, I'm going to have, and then I'm going to declare an integer employee number, a string with the employee's name. I'm going to put in a double with hours. That's the hours he works, and double pay rate, how much he makes per hour. Then finally, gross pay. All right, so going to have to be some, for gross pay, I'm going to have to use the hours times the pay rate to get the gross pay. But all that's going to be stored in a bundle called payroll. Let's go down side of main. And I'm going to declare, just like I declare an int or a string or a double, I'm going to declare a payroll for employee. Now, this is kind of silly because this should be a name. This should be payroll Martis, payroll Fry, payroll Finley, payroll Cook, something like that. But I'm just going to use employee for this video. All right. Oh, I got to go back up here to struct. There's something that's really important, and so many people forget this, is after you declare a struct, you call it a payroll struct, you do it. Guys, you have to have a semicolon behind it. When I say a lot of people forget about it, I'm one of them. Always forget that. And you get some kind of really weird error message, and you sit there and you look at it for 15, 20 minutes trying to figure out what you did wrong. This always needs a semicolon after it. All right, so I make a payroll, so a struct payroll, and I call it employee. Now I'm going to start entering stuff in it. I'm going to see out, enter the employee's number, their clock number, their badge number, whatever their employee number is. All right, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to see out employee's name. All right, don't worry about this CN ignore. That's not a big deal for this. It's just something I used. And then I'm going to put get line cn employee.name. So you can see up here, I cn employee name. And here, because it is a string, I use the get line cn employee.name. So that's a little, that's something you should remember from early on. This is just like cn and a variable name here. So we've did this before. Kind of ignore the ignore. This is just something I used inside of this. But this part, the get line for the string, you should know that. Next one is how many hours did the employee work? That's gonna prompt the user to put in employee hours. See out what's the employee's hourly rate? Going to make up an hourly rate. Then for employee gross pay, which was the last one, you have to do a calculation. And I wanted to do a calculation because I wanted to show you it's still like assigning a variable. It goes first equals, and look at this, employee hours times employees rate. You know that, but I just wanted to show you. You can multiply those two and put it inside employee gross pay. So probably this doesn't seem very complicated, and it's not, but it's stuff you got to be careful with. And for the see out, I'm just going to do, here's the employee's payroll, here's their name, and you can see how when I see out this, it's the same way as I see in. It's employee.name, employee number. The one thing I want to point out here is like I could have made many structs. I mean, once I declared this struct, I could have made it 5 or 6 different names, and it's always going to be the same. This would be like Martis name, Martis employee number, Martis hours. Then you've got the next one. It could be something like any of your all's names. Okay, I could put something like this together for a class with different things. So this was here's the employee's payroll, and I'm going to see out employee.name. Then I'm going to see out employee.employee number, employee.hours, employee.pay rate. Then this line here, I especially wanted to get to this because, guys, I can almost guarantee you this is going to be an exam question. How do you set precision for money? And it's fixed, show point, set precision. One thing you had to do was do the IO manip, right? Then see out gross pay and from the calculation you did. So let me run this. Enter employees number 1842. That actually happens to be my clock number for 25 years with Toyota. Employee's name. Can't spell my own name. How many hours did the employee work? Let's see. I left early this one day, so I only worked 36 hours. How much did I make? $20.50 an hour, right? And basically, here's the whole struct. Here's the employee's payroll data. All 5 of these values came from the struct, a payroll struct that I called employee dot each one of these things. So you can see how structs are used out in the business world and how they could be an important tool. It keeps all the data bundled, and just makes it a lot easier to work with. You don't have to rename something like different kinds of. You can use the payroll. You can use number. You can use it over and over again. The only thing that changes is the name in front of it. So there'll be a few more videos on this because this is probably going to be this will be a homework next week.